Hey everybody, Bonehead for the Bonehead podcast, and if you heard any of the podcasts this week, episode 96, you'll know that we had audio issues again, which is apparently the primary sponsor of the channel. No, I tried a new setup and it ended up with an echo, which we didn't realise in the first segment, so we then recorded the whole show, which I tried to fix, and it was pretty ropey at the best. So there's a couple of bits that we put out in the podcast that we need to recover because it's worth talking about. And the first bit is Blood Bowl news. Okay, so there's a few Bonehead podcast bits to cover at the start of Blood Bowl news. First of all is a massive thank you to you guys out there who listen, who like, who share, and obviously the great people that support us via Patreon, which means that we can do the things that we do for this channel, all the reviews and stuff like that. It's just awesome. So we've got some new Patreons this week. We've got Adam Wilcox, Tom Rolfe, Lepilf, Nicholas Dunlop, Tim, Justin, McDonald, NHAP1, Florian, Dwayne Braswell, Matthew Kerrigan, Nicolo, Marco Piadina, Tim M, Chuck Crawford, Victor Hansen, Blake Miller, Trevor Craig, Benedict Simon, and Liam DWL. Massive thank you and welcome to the team. Right, first bit of Blood Bowl news, however, is we've got two tournaments coming up for the podcast. The first one is the next in the South Coast series. So the South Coast series is not necessarily a series this year, but it flipping will be next year, but more about that later. This is a 2-day tournament run by us in Southampton. So Entoyment run these big events with loads of different games playing loads of different tournaments. There's Beachhead in the spring, where there's also a bunch of traders. There's South Coast Summer, which Trips and the boys just ran. We're going to talk about that in a separate segment, which was awesome. Now, what we're doing here at the Aegeus Bowl in Southampton is 2 days again, exactly the same as we did in Beachhead. One day is a Saturday 11s tournament, and Sunday is a 7s tournament. So they are separate tournaments, so if you can only make it to one, you can go to one, and it's no problem at all. But we will also have weekend overall winners too, so if you do come to both days, your scores will be combined and there'll be more prizes, which is pretty cool. Now, on the front of prizes and loot and things like that, well, the dice have already been shipped to us. We are ready for this tournament. We've sold 50 tickets, I think, something like that at the moment. So it's going really well. This I'm super excited about. Now, when we talked about this on the podcast, which obviously the audio went terribly for, Trips and Ben were a bit like, well, I don't know if we can do coverage. Well, I want to do coverage because I didn't get to go to the summer tournament because I was in Italy with Tiff, which was lovely, by the way, apart from where we got COVID. But anyway, that's just how this year rolls. I didn't get to come. And I tell you what, I was absolutely gagging for some information about what was happening. Like, I wanted to know standings, and if there was any kind of like, hey, this is the breakdown, this is the play, this is the matches on first round, this is this, maybe even some game coverage, I would have been absolutely over the moon, and that's kind of what we want to present to you guys. So working on it, but this one here is where I'm aiming to at least get some event coverage done. If not entirely a match play-by-play, at least event coverage, who's winning, what the matchups are, what the rosters are, and I think we can do it live from the event as well. So Pete, Entoyment Lord, is checking out the internet for us, and then I'm hoping to go and do some checks and stuff, because this could be the beginning of where we start doing Blood Bowl event coverage really well, and I want that so bad, because I want that as somebody who, due to my work schedule, my wife's work schedule, I miss out on events sometimes. So having that event coverage would be pretty cool, I think, and just raise the profile of Blood Bowl because it's an insanely good game. Anyway, the South Coast Autumn event is 11s on the Saturday, 7s on the Sunday. There is one overall special rule for both days, which are team mascots. Because this is taking place at the Aegeus Bowl, which is a big cricket sports place in Southampton, we want to kind of hang on the sport bit, and basically everybody gets to take a mascot for free. And this mascot is basically a once per game reroll. So you don't have to roll or anything like the actual mascot. This is a South Coast mascot. So once per game, you get a reroll. You have to have a model to represent it, and each day there will be a best mascot prize. So, do some cool, funky modeling stuff to be like, hey, this is my team mascot. This is, this is a really cool opportunity to kind of big up the sports element to it. whether it's 11s or 7s, that's a free reroll is not bad. It's 1100 TV for 11s and 600 TV for 7s. Skill sets are pretty similar to the summer one, but hey, you get a free reroll. So South Coast Autumn, most importantly, 22nd and 23rd of October. So on our webpage, we've got 89 days as I'm recording this on the Sunday. 89 days to go to that next tournament. Now, there is another tournament we're running quite shortly after. We don't normally run events too close, but as that one is an 11s and a 7s event taking place in Southampton, we've also got an event the following month back at Entoyment. Now, Entoyment is an awesome venue, and this is going to be the Bonehead Bowl for this year, and it is going to be standard teams and Dungeon Bowl teams and mixed teams. Now, we're still kind of playing out. There's going to be a rules update that allow more teams than just is. At the moment, the rule set is about the team special rules. So if you're Old World Classic, you can team up with Old World Classic. There's not like Badlands Brawls and stuff. It's just a bit limited. So we're going to have those, and basically I think next week we're going to be doing the announcement of, and these are the additional teams that you can mix in. So it's going to go from like 50 combos to 500 combos, where it bloomin' well should be. It is going to be 11s, so the game itself is going to be standard Blood Bowl, but every one of the Bonehead Bowls we've had with mixed teams and stuff just brings some awesome rosters and some awesome gameplay, and I cannot wait. Plus it's Entoyment, and Entoyment's awesome. Like, they've got QR codes on all the tables, so you can be playing your game and order a cup of tea and order a slice of pizza. It's just gaming mecca. Absolutely love it. So that's what's going on for the podcast over the next few months. So that's 26th of November. So if you are Southampton, London, Oxford, Winchester, Portsmouth, that way, actually a GS Bowl, awesome. If you are the deep, dark depths of Dorset and leftwards of the UK, Wales, you've got Bonehead Bowl as well if you can't make it to the Southampton one. And the guys on the Isle of Wight, come on. Southampton is literally a stone's throw. Get off the floor. Yeah, come on. Come on, Isle of Wight team. I know Milton's going to be banging that drum over there on the Isle of Wight. So that is it for the podcast tournaments. I think 2 tournaments coming up pretty soon is pretty sweet. We've also got some Kickstarters to have a look at. So Base Squared is a really interesting one that's live at the moment. So there's still 7 days to go as I'm recording now. They haven't hit their total yet. Now this is for actual physical resin bases for your team. You're thinking, okay, cool, my team comes with plastic bases. Well, what Tim's done here is create, it's basically multifaceted. So you've got a square base, it's got stunned and prone on the underneath so you can rotate your model. It's got the numbers on the edge, and it's got a really nice kind of positional colouring that you can paint in, which I think is a little bit underrated. Like, first of all, I love the fact that it's yellow, it's feeling very Star Trek, and I've recently binge watched Strange New Worlds. It's not bad. But I like this. This is quite a cool way of doing it. So you've got like a base topper, so you can put a based model on there. You've got a ball token where they've got the slot where you can put the ball in it as well. So they've gone really deep. And the whole idea here is just to maximize the ability to put the models on the board and to just keep them flat. And I think they look really good. Now, whether you are a square base hater or a round base lover, I don't know. Like, it's entirely up to you. But I think it's a really cool idea. We've seen it done kind of bits before, the Charlie Victor chunky bases. Like, they've got prone and stunned at the bottom of them. Obviously, these being square means it's way easier. And price-wise, it's actually pretty cheap. I think it's £10. Yeah, £10 for 16 square bases and the base marker. And this ball marker will fit on a round base, it will fit on a square base, everything but a 40mm base. So if you're a lover of big guys and big bases like I am, this may not work for you. But actually, as a base system, I think it's pretty cool. And I know the whole point here is that it's supposed to be square. But if I could get a bunch of cheap resin bases with player numbers, colorings, and like prone and stun underneath, I'd probably go in on that. But the fact they're square does put me off a little bit, but it's still a very cool thing. And they've done a great job of getting some painted examples from Torchlight and Fanaf, the dwarf team. Absolutely love it. So really cool one. Still got a week to go. So if you're interested in some square bases with some actual pretty reasonable utility to them, Base Squared. Now, we are going to have a cheeky little look at this next one, but we're not going to go into a deep dive on it because we've actually got some review copies, so there'll be a video going up in the next few days of us actually showing off the thick skull cases from Charlie Victor. Now, Charlie Victor, we've given them the unofficial tagline of unnecessarily good, because basically how they roll. Now, they've got 25 days to go, so we've got a good chunk of time to have a look at this. We've got both models to have a look at as well, but they've already hit 40 grand of a target of 8,000, and I'm not surprised. What the Thick Skull Fantasy Football carry case is a carry case for your fantasy football team, and rulebooks, and pitches, and it comes in top quality Charlie Victor. You've got embossed details, you've got actual, like, legit stitching and pockets for things, and I'm really impressed. Like, it looks really swish, and the size is great. But again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because we've got to have a video review of that up soon. But you can quickly see on the Kickstarter, which I will link down below, you can fit your pitch in there, your team in there, your books in there, your cheat sheets in there, your Charlie Victor skill tokens and things like that. It is basically a one-stop shop for carrying your Blood Bowl gear. There's a lot of alternatives out there, but this is probably if you need just to go, I need to buy a thing, and then I'm set forever, this is it, which I think is just absolutely awesome. Now, price-wise, it's 69 for the large and 79 for the extra large. Now, it's not cheap, but if you're going to be using it every week for club or 6 times a year for tournaments, that's nothing. Like, it's just incredible value because this is going to outlive you, which is just ridiculous. And you've got dice cups and things in there as well, or at least spaces for dice cups. This is a very cool, very premium product, and it's standard Charlie Victor quality, which is just outrageously top. So keep an eye on the channel for the video review of that. I'll be recording it this afternoon because they arrived yesterday, and yeah, so a few days, but we'll have a really good look at it. So on to the actual big Blood Bowl news at the moment. Now, Ben and Milton and Ian Triplow, we all got together and we talked about this. Now, this is the one I scrubbed up the best I could and put it out on the podcast this week. The audio is a bit garbage, but you can still hear what the boys are saying about the Amazon team and the star player team. So the biggest Blood Bowl news is that the Amazon team has been previewed. Whether it's to your liking or not is entirely up to you. Whether you like the team or not, that's entirely up to you. Whether you think the positionals are clear or not, well, we don't know yet. And we're still kind of hanging out for rules. If you've watched my video on what I think the rules are going to be, there's a lot of great comments in there, so thank you for that. We still don't know exactly what's going to happen with the Amazon team. I hold out hope that it's going to be a really interesting, different team, a different challenge for Blood Bowl. And that's awesome. Like, if you take the Amazon team as it is right now, there's still a ton you can learn from playing it. And there's a lot of reward to be earned in just exercising this kind of medium good team really well. Like, it can collapse in on itself, but also they are slippery as heck. Now, what we're seeing here is a slight change to the positionals. So I'm hoping there'll be a little bit more spice, a little bit more nuance to them, and a little bit more depth, I guess. But Amazon team has been previewed. It is Sunday today. We haven't seen the team rules yet, so I don't know if we're going to see it out on preview. But let me tell you guys, if it does come out on preview, we will be diving into it deeply, as you know that we do. Now, the other thing that has been shown is another star player, which is a Snake Man. Now, again, this video dropped while I was in Italy. And it's a cool star player with some cool rules. So basically, it's a movement 6, which we think is average for Amazons. Movement 6 dodge step with safe pair of hands, which as a runner isn't really going to give your team anything special. Definitely not for Amazons, and definitely not for Lizardmen. Why take this guy when you can just take 2 skinks? However, the ability Look Into My Eyes, while there is a really high setup cost, if this dude starts his activation in base contact with the ball carrier on a 2+, once per game you can roll, and on a 2+, you just yoink the ball away. Now, it does finish old Snake Boy's movement, and it's not going to come up very often, but every now and again that is going to be an absolute power play, and if you can kind of use it well, it's going to be really cool. It's not going to be game breaking, it's going to be a cool nuance like the Barrel Boy basically for Norse, where we thought, wow, that's a really powerful ability, but actually it's very easy to play around, but this is going to catch people, and it's going to be really cool to see them pull it off. So really excited to see that star player drop, and I know that we're going to see some more over the next couple of weeks. I say no, I hope. But Fanath Games, and we got to give them outrageous props for this. They dropped the Snake star player like 4 days after I did the video for this lad on the Monday when I was in Italy, and I think FANAF had it up ready for order maybe the Thursday because I ordered it before we came home. So they did an incredible job. So for €8, FANAF have got an actual physical resin Snake Star player who is very much strength 3 and looks really cool. It was quite funny when I showed this model off to the guys. I think Milton thought that I'd got a hold of the Forge World model, because actually if you think about the style, it's very similar. It's a snake dude, right? The Forge World sculpt is very, very, very nice, but quite frankly, so is the FANAF one, and it comes beautifully, I'm going to say cast, because I think this is actually 3D printed, because they also do the STL. Now, this is on the printer right now for me, and I've got the physical copy here, the FANAF. So, guess what mini we're going to be looking at on Monster Monday this week? That's right, it's going to be the Shaman Snake. But dude, €8, I think it was like €4 postage, so half the price of Forge World Star Player. And it was there in no time. Like, I ordered it maybe the Thursday when I was in Italy. These guys are in Europe as well, so it landed on the Monday, I think, when I got back. Absolutely awesome. It's a great little sculpt, and I love what FANAF do. So there's some cool Blood Bowl news out at the moment, but that is, I think, everything Blood Bowl newsy that we can talk about right now. So what we're going to do is we are going to wrap up this video, and then you will see me drop another chunk of the podcast, kind of redone a little bit later on. But it is Sunday, so you never know. Maybe it's going to be Amazon Preview Day. Who knows? Anyway, thanks very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. How have I got that wrong? I've said it like 1,000 times. Probably more Blood Bowl content, probably soon. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead Podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.